Happy New Year. 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 We're in the course of love. Let's just act like we kind of love each other. Just fake it for an hour or so. You wish each other Happy New Year. 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 So we're in the course of love. We're going to be on page 234. If you have the books, and we're in the section called Being. And I'm going to start out with paragraph 27-14. And it takes a minute for us to really begin to tune in, so that's okay if your mind drifts and you go everywhere and all that other good stuff. Doesn't make any difference. So just be here for a minute, and then I'm gonna read, and sooner or later you can go, oh, he's saying something. Okay, so it's gonna be perfect. You'll tune right in. To live in relationship is to accept all that is happening in the present as your present reality. To live in relationship is to accept all that is happening in the present as your present reality and as a call to be in relationship with your present reality. To live in relationship is the willingness to set aside judgment so that you are not contemplating what should be happening rather than what is happening. Stop contemplating what should be happening in your life right now rather than what is happening in your life right now. Stop focusing on what should be happening in your life right now. You should be focusing on what is happening in your life right now. Do you know that we're being told not to focus all our attention on what should be happening in our life right now, but we should be focusing our attention on what is happening in our life right now. Oh yeah, I want to get the name and email of everybody that's coming to my classes now. So I'm going to do now students. And so we can learn together. So this is the Course of Love group. So I want to find out who's coming to the Course of Love. So even if you've signed before, please everybody sign that wants to be in the loop about what's happening. Also, it'll make it a lot easier if for some reason the class is canceled or I'm not here or something special is going on to let you know what's going on.
Yes.
Because this year is a year that a lot's going to happen, not necessarily because of the Mayan calendar, but because or the calendar that I got at Walgreens. It's not that. Sometimes I think that's a deeper calendar than the Mayan calendar, because it has dates on it that make a lot more difference to me. So it's not about that. It's because everybody thinks something is. So we as a collective consciousness on this earth, we're going to make something intense happen this year because we've decided something intense is supposed to happen this year. Now, one group of people will create hell for themselves. That's just the way they do it. Then there's going to be another group of people who's going to try to take that power to create more love and more goodness and more prosperity and more joy in their lives. And there are going to be some people that's going to use the power of their mind to buy into all the fearful stuff, and they'll have fearful situations. Okay, everybody clear about that? All right, so you're the one that's going to determine whether this is, because all of us are going to have the end of the world anyway. It's just going to happen in your own personal time, but everybody's got the end of the world coming. Nobody gets out of here alive. Okay, so you leave your body behind, and all of us are going to do that. So it doesn't matter whether it's all together this year or it's you by yourself on a lonely street. It's going to happen. So the only thing that really matters is how you're going to do it as a conscious being that knows you're just leaving a shell that's no longer useful for what you came here to learn. Or are you going to be freaking out because you think that's you and you think that's all there is and you're going into some kind of ultimate blackness? So that depends on, so the only thing you take with you when you leave here is your level of consciousness. And it's your level of consciousness that determines your next experience after this. You don't take your car, you don't take your house. Nobody on their deathbed says, I wish I had to work more overtime. Okay? So what you really take with you, they usually say, I wish I had to spend more time with the people I love. I wish I had to let myself enjoy myself more. One of the greatest things that's happened in watch, I've had 5 really close people in my life make a transition in the last 2 years. And the one thing I learned from that is that nothing skipped a beat. Nothing stopped. not the lives of the people who mourn them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And as sad as we were, we laughed
Mm-hmm.
at the dinner afterwards. Glad to, because those are usually the family reunions,
Mm-hmm.
are usually funerals. So you get a chance to see people you haven't seen in a long time, and people are socializing. Yet the person that was so important to you is gone. So so don't believe that you are so important that everything is going to fall to pieces if you don't do what it is you think you need to do in your life. Don't think it's not going to get done if you don't do it. That's one of the best excuses that people use to keep from enjoying and living their lives and expressing their lives to the greatest of their ability. They think that everything's going to go to pieces if they don't handle it. The only thing that'll happen is somebody else will do it. Mm-hmm. It's amazing how helpless people become really, really capable when you're not around to do it for them anymore. How they actually get the stuff done that you thought you just had to be the one that does it. So anyway, my point is this is a brand new year. This is a new beginning, and symbolically. So this is an opportunity for you to really see things another way and to do it differently. And if it's really hard, don't be resistant to letting go of everything and everyone that limits you from doing that. So that the new people in your life that will support you for who you are now can come into your life and do that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no shortage of people. There's lots of loving people in the world. There are lots of great people in the world. You're looking at some right now. You're in the room full of great people right now. They might not be the special one that you want to take home to bed, or to the movie, or on a trip, but there's some great people here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a line in the Course in Miracles that says, your brother was not created for you to enable yourself to hurt yourself through them. That people weren't created to hurt you. They weren't created to be a means for you to hurt yourself.
Mm.
That people were created to help you remember how loving and lovable you are. That's why they were created, for us to exchange and give and receive love. I have to remember that's why we're in each other's life. So I'm in relationship with you. So I need to be focusing on what's happening right now instead of what should be happening right now. It says to live in relationships looks past perception of others to relationship and wholeness. To live in relationship is to live in harmony, even with conflict. How do you live in harmony even with conflict? You accept that while you're here, there may be some conflict while you're learning how to see. Living in relationship is an understanding that if conflict arises in your present, there is something to be learned from your relationship with the conflict. If there's a conflict that you're going through right now, there's something to be learned from your relationship with that conflict. If you're going through some kind of a conflict right now, there's something for you to learn in relationship to that conflict. Living in relationship is living from your center, the heart of yourself. Living in relationship is complete reliance on relationship itself rather than on the mind. So rather than relying on the mind, we should be relying on our relationships. Whew. Instead of relying on the mind, we should be relying on our relationships. That's a powerful statement.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a very powerful statement. Thus, your actions reflect the proper response to the relationship that is occurring in the present rather than to your preconceived notions of others, the previous judgments your mind once made and relies upon out of habit, or your considerations of what the situation might mean to your future. If you like to guarantee a future different from your past, if you like to start this year off and have a future different from your past, then don't do it the way you've done it before. And don't think the same thoughts you've been thinking. Hello, everybody with me? I'm trying to remember that too. I'll say it again. If you really want to have a different life this year, then we need to get some new thoughts. These are some new thoughts. There are other books that give us new thoughts, but you need new thoughts if you want new experiences. So the next thing that it tells us, and as we go a little bit further, he says, thus your actions reflect the proper response to the relationship that is occurring in the present rather than to your preconceived notions of others, which are the previous judgments your mind once made and relies upon out of habit, which is your considerations of what the situation might mean to your future. It is not the individual you that dictates your responses to situations based on surface interpretations of what those situations entail. What does that mean? It is rather the you in and within the relationship that responds out of the knowledge gained through the relationship. How often have you, even with the best of intentions, not known the proper response to make? How often, even with the best intentions, you haven't known how to respond to a situation? You even wonder as you pray whether you should pray for specific outcomes or if you should pray for God's will to be done. Should I pray for it to turn out there's a person in my life that is very sick in the hospital. Should I pray for them to recover, or should I pray for God's will to be done? I think I don't have enough money to pay my bills. Should I pray for the money to pay my bills, or should I pray for God's will to be done? I'm in a relationship that's really a challenge for me. Do I pray to have this person love me and be here with me? Or do I pray for God's will to be done? Do I pray for that new job I want, or should I pray for God's will to be done? You fear being a miracle worker because you don't think that you will ever know what it's called for. As you learn to live in relationship in the present, this confusion will pass as you learn to live in relationship. So my confusion will pass as I start to be in the present, responding to what is happening now. Not being in the present, wondering what's going to happen later. Not being in the present, thinking about what happened in the past. My confusion will leave when I'm in the present, responding to what's happening right now. Like if I was to be 100% present with you right now, I wouldn't have any confusion because I know what to do right now. What does that mean? Any situation you enter in only has two purposes. It's another opportunity to show people who you really are and who they are to you. Every situation that you enter in is nothing but another opportunity to receive what you want. Because you're going to use every situation that you're in as a means to achieve your goal. So you know exactly what to do in every situation if you know what your goal is. What's that? Everybody hear something weird? Okay. Okay. So when people don't know what to do in a situation, they don't know what they want in a situation. If my purpose for being here with you tonight is to connect with you and to join with you and to love you and to see you as myself and to offer you peace, now I know what I should be doing with you right now. I should be doing something that allows us to connect and feel peace with each other. If I have a goal, then I know what to do in every situation that I'm in. If I don't have a goal, then anything can happen to me. And people that anything seems to happen to are people without a purpose. Because they don't know what a situation should achieve for them, what it should mean. So if you say I don't know, and you want the idea of I don't know to bless you, you say I don't know with the idea that God does know. I don't know what my Creator does know. I don't know, but God knows. I don't know means God knows. I don't know doesn't mean it's time for me to figure it out because I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know means there is a divine mind that does know. And what I should be doing is everything in my power to remove the blocks to me hearing what that divine mind is telling me to do in this situation that I'm afraid in. How much time do you spend when you're upset and you're afraid trying to have a relationship with God? And how much when you are afraid and concerned about something are you trying to figure out how to handle it? Just throwing it out as a question. Yeah. How many of you are, whenever something is really bugging y'all, you sit down and you go into silence and you ask the divine mind to guide you and tell you what to do in that situation? Or how many of you get busy with your plan?
Get busy with that.
How many of y'all get busy with your next plan, which the Course calls the next thing you want to do to deceive yourself?
That's right.
I got to come up with the next thing I'm going to do to make me think that the answer lies outside of myself. Just a question. Because sometimes questions hook the mind. They really kind of make you get realer with yourself, I think. I'll say it again. How many of you, when you're afraid, go to yourselves for the answer? And how many of you, when you're afraid, try to make a relationship with your source and getting clear on that the answer? How many of y'all run to your teaching and your spiritual practice before you run to the phone to call somebody to try to figure it out? Okay, and you know where you are in that process that I just said. And so you would be the one who would know what you need to be working on right now. You know, if you run to yourself, then you know you have some work to do on healing your relationship with Source. If you run into Source, then you know you're doing the right thing and you just need to do more things that would remove any other blocks that would keep you from going to Source. Okay. What's happening for the mass consciousness level is that everything is collapsing so that we'll see that it's not based on anything real, so that we can start operating from the spiritual laws that operate beneath the laws of man. So we're going through a period right now where man's laws and all the flaws of man's laws are being revealed to all of us at the same time. Some people are going to try to see if they can prop up the old laws one more time. Some people are going to go, there must be a better way.
Yeah.
Okay, and the younger people are taking up that mantle. They're seeing right through it, and they're not wanting to do it. They don't want to follow in our footsteps because they see the result of us following in our footsteps.
That's a good point.
They're not blind. They see unhappy people trying to tell them how to be happy. They're seeing couples where the mother and father and the husband and wife haven't talked to each other in years, trying to tell them how to have relationships. They're seeing people who don't have any money try to tell them what to do with theirs and what they should be doing. So they are just simply observing and everything around them, and they are realizing that what they need more than anything is honesty and authenticity and what's real coming at them, rather than us passing down to them the same crock of stuff that was passed down to us, even though it was passed down to us in good faith. It wasn't like our parents were trying to hurt us when they were telling us stuff that is inherently not true, as well as the stuff they told us that was very true. So, you know, y'all with me on that? So that's what's going on. These younger souls coming in, they're not going to deal with that kind of stuff that like we dealt with, where it wasn't open, everything was hidden, you couldn't really talk, you couldn't really share, you just told them what to do, didn't have to explain why. That's not gonna happen now, because it's wake up time for all of us. And the only way that we're gonna go to the next level, according to this, is in relationship. We got to go from an I space to a we space, from a me space to a us space. We got to go to a us space now. It's got to be about us. It can't be about you alone anymore. It can't be about you alone anymore. It can't be about your personal fantasies alone anymore. It's not about that anymore. We're in another age now. We're in the Aquarian age. That's the age of enlightenment. That's the age of getting in touch with new ways of communicating and relating to each other, and the technology that we're using, and being part of groups and humanitarian movements, and joining together and respecting individuality, and being willing to experiment together and try new ways of doing things. This is an experimental age. You know, and it's an age of telepathy, and it's an age of intuition. It's an age of getting information from something greater than your own ego. So people are going to want to express their individuality, but at the same time, they're going to want to join with others of a like mind for a common purpose, so everybody can use their individual gifts for a common goal. Just like a car. The tire is different from the transmission, but they're both serving the same purpose, which is to move the vehicle. So they're in harmony, and you don't see the tire fighting with the transmission, because they're all trying to move the car. But you can imagine what it would be like if the car was fighting the transmission, and the transmission was fighting the motor, and the motor was fighting. That's us.
Yeah.
That's us. Yeah. So what we're doing now in the Aquarian age is we're going to become the tire that realizes it's supposed to move the car forward, the motor that realizes it's supposed to move the car forward. the electrical system that knows it's supposed to move the car forward. So we're going to recognize that we are here to move forward the idea of love and unity and oneness and togetherness and who we really are.
So cool.
And in the process, you can get the house you want, you can get the car you want, you can buy the clothes you want, you can get all the toys that the world has to offer. But a child has to go from being a child to a teenager to an adult. And so it's time for us to step up our game. So not some of us, not everybody. You know, and who are the ones that know that it's that time? They're the ones that's perpetually dissatisfied. Okay? Because your dissatisfaction is the homing beacon that keeps pulling you toward what's really valuable by not allowing you to be satisfied with anything less than what you deserve. So your dissatisfaction is coming from an inherent awareness that you deserve more than you're giving yourself and have given yourself. So that's why you're dissatisfied, because you're not giving yourself what you deserve. And that dissatisfaction is a blessing because it won't allow you to become stuck in something that's not real. So if you're dissatisfied, be glad about it.
Okay.
Be thankful about it. It means you really want what's real. And that's in relationship. So it says, as you learn to live in relationship in the present, this confusion will pass. Your relationship will guide you surely to the proper response. Did you hear that? Your relationship will surely guide you to the proper response. I use the term proper here not as a measure of judgment, but as an indication that there is a way in which those who live in relationship become certain, and their willingness to act unimpeded by uncertainty. All uncertainty is fear. All uncertainty is fear. If you have doubt, you have fear. If you have doubt, you have fear. All uncertainty is fear. All fear is doubt about oneself. I feel afraid, I'm doubting myself. I feel afraid, I'm doubting myself. I feel afraid, I'm doubting myself. I feel afraid, I'm uncertain, and I'm doubting myself. That's why I feel afraid. And I do feel afraid. There are parts of me that feel afraid. Those parts of me are uncertain. Those parts of me has doubt about myself. How can you not know how to respond when doubt is gone and certainty has come? How can certainty ever come without an understanding of the relationship of all things? How can certainty ever come? That thing about fear being doubt about yourself. I went to a New Year's Eve party, and they were going to do a fire walk. And so they had the hot coals, and they had prepared the fire, and it was red hot coals, and there was a person who had facilitated that like 1,000 times. And anybody at the party that wanted to do the fire walk was invited to do the fire walk. And a friend of mine told me that there was no way in the world she was going to do the fire walk. There was no way she was going to walk on those red hot coals. And I remember saying that the first time I did it. Just what? I didn't even intend to do it. I went to watch my crazy friends do it. And so did the newspaper come to watch them do it. We went through the workshop. I watched my friends walk the fire. And the minute I saw my friends walk the fire, it was a part of me that told me I could do it because we were the same. It wasn't watching somebody on TV walk the fire. You know, it was the person that I was just helping hold their head over the toilet puking after party a few weeks ago. My buddy. My friends, the people who I do anything with, that they see my flaws as well as my perfection, the people I'm not hiding from, the people I don't pretend with, the people that I really tell what's going on inside of me. And when you see those people do something, there's a part of you that believes that you can do it too. And so I walked it because I saw my friend walk it, and then I couldn't believe I walked it, and then I couldn't believe that it felt like I was walking on a carpet, so I walked it again. Then I walked it again, and the third time I did the moonwalk on it. This was the weird part about it. The lesson was, if your inner self that told you not to walk it, don't walk it. If your inner self tells you to walk it, walk it. The test of the fire walk wasn't whether or not you walked the hot coals. It was whether or not you listened to yourself. Those who listened to themselves, there was not anybody harmed at all. period. And those who chose not to, they were just as much applauded as those who chose to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the lesson was, will you honor what you feel, and will you listen to yourself? And the funny thing, after having an experience like that that defies logic in your mind, you still go back to worrying about your bills. and what's going on with your relationship, and will I ever lose that 10 pounds?
Yeah.
I was hoping the hot coals at least burn off some of my cellulite. You know, you get right back to what? The same old mind talk. The same old, you can do something incredible and you'll be shocked at how fast you'll find a part of your mind trying to blot out the incredible thing you just done to take you right back to what? Fear, uncertainty, and self-doubt. Because you can't stay in the world of fear without fear. So the part of you that wants to stay here in fear has to keep you afraid. So the fearful person is constantly being fed by their fear. Mm-hmm. So fearful people need fear, and they feed off of fear. So fearful people spend all their time thinking of things to make themselves afraid. Mm-hmm. Loving people, and we have both in us, they're constantly remembering what allows them to let go of their fear, and their fear of connection and their fear of joining. It's not but two kinds of people in the world. Those who want to be separate and those who want to join. Those are only two people walking the street. Those who take responsibility for what they experience and those who blame others. And most people see themselves as a mixture of the two. But there's a point on the spiritual path that you have to take a firm stand on one side or the other, and you can no longer be wishy-washy. You have to go, I am responsible for my experience of my experience. 100% responsible for the experience of my experience. I don't care what's happening to me right now. I am responsible for my reaction to it. I am responsible for my experience of this experience. Nobody else is responsible for my experience of this moment but me. Even if I'm mad, even if I'm sad, even if I'm angry, even if I'm happy, even if I'm afraid, even if I'm broke, even if whatever's going on, I am responsible for my experience of this experience, and nobody else is. So you're not making me mad, I'm making myself mad. I am never upset for the reason I think. I'm upset because I'm seeing something that isn't there. And what I'm seeing that isn't there is the past or the future, and not dealing with what's happening right now. So I'm really never upset for the reason I think. I'm really upset because I'm focusing on something that's not there. The past or the future. You worried right now? It's about something in your future or something in your past. So you're really upset because of the past or the future, not the thing you think you're upset about. You're never upset for the reason you think. You are never upset for the reason you think. Whoa! How can you not know how to respond when doubt is gone and certainty is come? How can certainty ever come without an understanding of the relationship of all things? Any questions, any comments, any sharing?
You're on fire.
I am determined to see.
Yes.
I am determined to see.
Very much so.
You know what I'm saying? I'm determined to see. This is a blessed moment to come together with a group of people that are trying to wake up to who they really are. For us to be together like this and not take advantage of it, it's to me, it's like, it's crazy. You know, it doesn't make sense. You know, we get a chance to talk as crazy as we want to in here. But what do? We get around each other that we can say the most outrageous things to, and it'll be okay, and we don't say anything, and then we say the outrageous things to our friends and relatives who thinks we're nuts. But we'll walk right out of here and try to tell somebody who don't believe none of this stuff where we're coming from, and we'll sit up around each other who believe it and not say anything. Isn't that funny? Because what would happen? We join. What would happen? Our barriers would cease. What would happen? All our problems will get solved. Yeah, talk to me, Joe.
Well, it's easier. I always do these little experiments.
All right.
So one of mine is, because we talked about relationship
Right.
with somebody else.
Right.
So my friends and I all have this guy who does picture frames for us.
Okay.
And they're always, you know, for them, the frames are always broken or wrong size or there's a knot in it, I don't know.
Right.
So when I first started hearing this, I thought, I'm gonna try an experiment. So every time I got frames from him, instead of finding the wrong things, I would write him a note saying, these are beautiful, thanks for your hard work. And this was experiment for this, but all that stuff. And now I swear, no matter what order I do, it's on time, it's perfect, it's right.
Huh.
Wow, that was an easy experience, somebody I didn't really know. So now I'm trying it with closer people.
Right.
You know, just compliment them, be in that
Right.
space of positive energy, and it's amazing how that relationship strengthens.
Absolutely. There's nothing that's absolutely. If you use the ideas, you always see that they work. That's how it's so easy to tell who is using this stuff we're studying and who's analyzing the stuff we're studying. And then thinking that their analyzation and philosophizing is the same as the application of the idea, then get upset and say it doesn't work. And the truth is they've never tried one bit of it. They've thought about trying it. So ask yourself, are you one of those? Are you an innocent person that's always thinking about it but not doing it? And then believing it's failing you as if you've done it. Wow. Reading the recipe book isn't the same as baking the cake.
Right.
And most people, they approach it like, I'm going to read the recipe book. It's like a carpenter. It's like two people want to build a house. And they go to the hardware store and get a hammer and some nails and some wood. And then they come to the spot where they want to build a house. And they throw the hammer and the nails and the wood on the ground. And then they stand back and they wait for the house to be built. That's the same as reading these books but not applying it. And then they go, oh, I know what the problem is. The house isn't being built. I know what the problem. They go back to the hardware store and get some more nails and some more wood. That's going to the next book, the next class, the next, you know what I'm saying? That's just gathering more nails and more wood to throw on the ground. It's not until I actually go, oh, it says pick that piece up there, that piece up there. That just makes me so mad when I order something through the mail and they tell me I have to assemble it. Y'all know what I'm talking about? It's like you open it, oh my God, I got to assemble it. And they have the directions in there, right? But if I ever want to use that stand, I'm going to have to assemble it. And thank God I got the directions. That's the first thing I'm going to look for when I'm serious about building it, right? All right? So when you get serious about the truth and your happiness, you will be falling all over yourself to read the instruction manual about how to have it. Until that moment happens, stop jabbing yourself. You don't really want it. Not yet. If you auditory, listen. If you're visual, go watch something. But if you're not practicing your spiritual practice in some form or another, stop telling yourself you're serious about what it is you think it offers. Because how can you say you want something and don't want to do the means to get it? There's no way that you can really want something and don't. So action speaks louder than words. And as you go further on this spiritual path this year, stop paying attention to what people say and start watching what they do so that you won't hurt yourself through the people around you. Because people on the spiritual path have a tendency to talk as if they've achieved what it is that they're trying to do, as if readiness is mastery. As if, you know what I'm saying? They'll say, I love you, and I have nothing but peace. But what actions are they doing to show that that's true? You see what I mean? So watch the people around you. What they demonstrate is what they themselves want for themselves. People give what they want to receive. I'm giving a hug because I want one. I'm calling you because I need to communicate. I want to go dancing with you because I want to dance. I want to invite you to the movie because I want to see a movie. What people give is what they want to receive. And they always go after it from wherever they think they can receive it from. These are like universal laws that I'm sharing with you. They're just facts. So as you move forward in this new energy that we're going into, it's going to become important to become more and more aware. Aware. You know, then when something crazy is about to happen, you're so aware you won't even be there. Like one student asked his guru, said, what if somebody has a rifle and you don't know about it, and they, and what would you do about that, And the guru said, I just wouldn't come around.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't be there. My awareness would not allow me to be there. And like a guru that I met one time, when I taught the Course in Miracles in the South, and I was teaching there is no hell and there is no sin in the belt buckle of the Bible Belt, it sometimes frightened me. Like in the South, they don't play around with the sin and hell stuff. They serious about the sin and hell stuff. Okay, so you don't be talking about there ain't no sin and there ain't no hell. You might be able to pull it off in Denver, but that don't fly in the South. And what I came to realize in doing that was that the only people that came around me, or the only people that were drawn to me, were people who also wanted to believe the same thing. Because I wasn't trying to get them, and I wasn't trying to decide who would come. Because I never know who's going to come to my class. Last week it was 2 people that normally come, and then a group of people from Alaska.
Yeah.
As long as I've been teaching the course,
Yeah.
I never know who's going to come to my classes. I learned a long time ago that if the course was telling the truth when it says the people will be sent, it means the people will be sent. 2 people might be sent this week, 300 people might be sent next week, 32 people might be sent the next week. When I send out emails or anything like that, or promoting anything, it's just what the course told me to do. It's a symbolic gesture to show that I'm willing for the Holy Spirit to be in charge. It's not like I think those emails do any good whatsoever. It's just symbolic of my willingness to receive. That's what you do when the course says all the stuff you're doing in the world right now that you think is going to make your thing happen. It says just see it as symbolic of your willingness to be healed. It ain't actually causing nothing. The only thing that's causing anything is the Holy Spirit, the voice for God, the truth in you, your divine self is what's creating it. So if you want a relationship, all you have to do is say, I am ready to learn. That's what it says say. If you want a relationship of any type, just say, I am ready to learn. That's how you draw relationships. Because that's exactly what's getting ready to happen. You're getting ready to do what? Learn everything you need to learn about yourself. So I would like to have a relationship with you where I'm learning that I'm innocent, where I'm learning that I'm loved, where you're learning that you're innocent, and you're learning that you're powerful, and you're learning that you're not alone, and you're learning that you deserve to be happy, and you're learning that you're not guilty. The only people that want to come to a class like that are people who already believe that about themselves. They just need to be reminded. Isn't that deep? The Course says what you want to be is what you already think you are. So you tell me what you want to be, and you're really telling me what you already think you are. You're just trying to get rid of every block that keeps you from recognizing it. You wouldn't even seek to know your innocence and your power and how loving you are unless you already believed you were powerful and loving. You're sitting here because you already believe the truth is in you. Somebody who don't already believe it has no interest in classes like this. It's not like people don't believe it about themselves and then they come to a class and all of a sudden they believe it about themselves. No. You already believe it about yourself before you come through the door, and you want to be reminded of it, and you want everything that keeps you from remembering it to go away and not hear it. So you can think you're the most sinful, guilty person in the world and walk in this room. If you walk in this room, you don't believe it anymore. You don't believe it anymore. That's why you're here. One day that'll be good news. Say, really? It's like you would have thought I'd say, y'all a bunch of bastards. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm saying you're powerful. I'm saying you're a good person. I'm saying you're a loving, powerful being. That's who you are.
Yeah.
That's who you are. Your story's got to go. Nobody cares.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, when you get to a higher and higher level of consciousness, there's going to be less and less tolerance for your story. So the price you're going to pay for being around really loving, conscious being is that your story won't fly no more. That story you've been telling yourself all your life about why you're so pitiful, it won't fly with people who love you. They won't buy into it.
That's a good point, because I was thinking the other day, my daughter has a couple of girlfriends, and their parents, we were trying to hang out with them a couple years ago. It just never really worked. And today, I was kind of feeling guilty. I was like, oh, well, you know, maybe I should have called them or something. Wait a minute. They're in a different, they're resonating differently. It has nothing to do with whether I called them or didn't call them or they don't like me anymore. It just is.
And it's perfect for them to be where they are. Don't get me wrong, when I talk about people of other religions, other backgrounds, whether it's Southern Baptist, Catholic, whatever, I believe that everybody is exactly where they need to be. This person might be on a level of consciousness that if they didn't believe they were going to hell, they might hurt somebody. They need to believe stuff like that to make them do right. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody, all your friends and relatives are exactly where they need to be. I'll say that again. All our friends and relatives are exactly where they need to be. It's not your responsibility or my responsibility to wake any of them up. You love them while they are asleep. You talk about fishing. You look for something you can join with them on. That's what you do. You sit around and you see your uncle who you haven't talked to in 50 years sitting at the table, but you notice he likes to collect comic books. If you were smart, you would ask, what is the comic book that you think is the most valuable right now? And I guarantee you, if that's his thing, he will come to life. He will communicate with you. You will join with him. He will like you. And because of that, he may even become more open to what you are about. You always look for what you can join with a person about, rather than trying to come up with how they can buy into your program. You try to be interested instead of interesting. Go ahead. If you want to talk.
I know, I guess.
That's all right. That's what you're channeling the whole class. Everybody's using you as the luscious pipeline of God. Okay.
I was visiting with somebody, and he's always bringing up the negative stuff.
Right.
Trying to do the connection thing. And I'm like, okay, so do you just connect with that?
Oh, that's an interesting point of view. Oh, that's an interesting point of view.
Okay.
Oh, I never really thought about it that way. Oh, let me think about that. Oh, wow, really? That's some kind of way to look at it.
Okay.
Wow, how does that make you feel? What do you think you should do about that? What do you think would be the answer to that? That's what you do.
Okay.
It's really that simple. It's really that simple.
Okay.
It's really because at some point you begin to recognize that he's only there to give you an opportunity to practice recognizing that you're giving it all the meaning that it has for you.
Okay.
And that no matter what they're saying, you don't really have to give your peace away. You see what I mean?
Yes.
So how can I know that I know how to hold on to my peace unless somebody's saying something that doesn't really resonate to me, and I can keep my peace? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when the guy gives me the finger in the traffic because of something I didn't even seem like I did, then that's my opportunity to either see that I give that some meaning to me, or to see if I've gotten to the point that it doesn't mean anything to me. So what they're really doing is giving me a reality check about my own ability to buy into what's going on around me.
I learned not to laugh at that. You don't like that either. But, okay.
Yeah. I had a guy that was going to do road rage on me. He got out of his car. It was really funny because the whole thing had nothing to do with me consciously. Like this whole thing he was mad about was I wasn't moving fast enough, but he couldn't see it was a car in front of me stopped. And so he gets out the car at the stop sign. He's getting ready to come up to me, and he's going to be and what I was doing from the minute I saw that, I could feel the energy because I saw the anger, and I said, and I was saying, bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you. Because first of all, I've been him. I may not have acted it out to the point that he was acting it out, but he wasn't being anything that I hadn't been. That's rule number one if you want to have anything become peaceful. Stop seeing yourself as different from the person that you're upset with.
Okay.
If you want to get rid of an upset or disagreement, stop seeing yourself as being different from the person that you're disagreeing with or upset with, okay? Because you've done it yourself. Every one of us has had murderous thoughts. Every one of us has had upset thoughts. Every one of us has said, oh yeah, you killed a mosquito. The mosquito would definitely call you a murderer, okay? So all of us have killed something. So, you know what I'm saying? So you can't tell me anything you're upset with anybody about that you haven't done. Not one in attitude. Nobody in this room can. So how do you know when you're ready to forgive yourself for it, what you've done? It's very simple. If I'm willing to overlook it in you, that's when I know I'm now at the point that I'm willing to overlook it in myself and heal myself. So as long as I can't overlook it in you, I know I'm not overlooking it in me, no matter what I tell myself. So the guy walks up to the car, and he's all ready to go off, and what did you say, blah, blah, blah? I said, bless you. He went, all right. Then he turned around and went back to it. See, I could have got into now, did I have my male ego that was saying, I wish I had a dog that I could knock you upside your head for even being stupid enough to walk up to my car not even knowing if I was a crazy guy who would have blew your butt away. See, that shows you how stupid that ego was, to even walk up to my car like that. You know this person has a death wish, they hate themselves, and they wish they was dead, and they want to use somebody to take them out. And somebody will. See, that's the thing about it. You know, murderers want to be killed. People who attack people won't attack. I didn't give him what he wanted, so he turned around and left. He would have loved it if I had attacked him. That would have been exactly what he wanted. And as a man, quote unquote, the temptation is always, as a man, to get into the major urge that motivates men, which is the desire to die. Because men want freedom. Death is the ultimate freedom. That's why you think we like the kind of stuff that kills people. You know, what else but a man would want to run down a football field with a ball with guys 300 pounds all trying to do whatever they could do to jump on them and pound them into the ground. What but a man would do that? Men have a death wish, okay? Because men have an innate desire for freedom. It's a trip. So I had a hard time with this man thing for a long time because I thought men did a bunch of crazy stuff that didn't make no sense to me. I wasn't going to climb up the side of a rock with my fingers. You know, black folk don't do that kind of stuff. So it's been a real adjustment here in Colorado. I want some ribs. Okay.
Well, I could kill you too.
You gonna buy something? Tell me who's not gonna go out.
That's right.
Okay, so are you gonna go out happy and peaceful?
That's right.
Are you gonna go out upset? It's not about, you know, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm not telling people, I'm gonna upset some people right about now, but that's just what I do. But I think you should always do what you feel like is best for you in your heart. If you think you need to be a vegetarian, then you do it because you believe that it's best for you. And if you ate a barbecue sandwich, then you probably kill over and die because you've already convinced yourself that it would kill you. But you don't know what's best for everybody else around you no more than anybody else does. So, because I see just as much my friends who eat healthy get just as sick and get just as many colds and just as much upset and just as much congestion as my friends who are meatitarians. I honestly don't see any difference in most cases. I'll be honest with you. I don't really, they just much get the colds. The difference is in how they feel about themselves. So what really matters is for you to do the thing that makes you feel in integrity with yourself. Because in the end, it's going to be your mind that determines whether you get sick or not.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be your mind that determines whether or not you're prosperous. It's going to be your mind that determines every single thing that happens to you. And what you do in the physical world is just a symbol of what you want to have happen to you in your mind. When you're ready for a loving relationship, it will show up.
Yeah.
When you're ready to have a fulfilling career, it will find you. When you're ready to be free, it's going to find you. So the only thing we need to do now, like you said, we need to be in relationship with our conflict by asking ourselves, what is it I'm supposed to be learning from it? Once I get clear about what I'm supposed to be learning from it, there's no need for the universe to present me with that problem anymore, and it goes away. Ow!
Mm-hmm. Yay.
Ow!
Uh-huh.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Sons and daughters of God.
Yeah, brother.
Yes, brother.
I had that situation just by the way, day before yesterday with driving my car, and one of the couriers on bike, in my opinion, almost sideswiped me.
Right.
In her opinion, which was very strong, I almost sideswiped her. She came up to my window, stuck her head in my car.
See there?
In the car.
In the car.
Where I could have taken off and taken her head off.
Uh-huh.
It was
While you
a
were
close
driving?
call. It was real close. My foot had mine of its own. Anyway, and I said, I'm sorry, but God bless you. Have a good day, and I'll do a better job. And it's just amazing when you throw water on fire rather than trying to fight fire on fire.
Agree with that
And
adversary quickly.
It is absolutely. I said, if I did that, I am just terribly.
Yeah.
And she said, okay. And
Yeah,
she just
that's what I'm saying. But it takes so much strength to do that.
It does.
When
Why?
somebody-
Like what you did takes a lot more strength than to have met her anger with anger.
Thank you.
Now that's being a man.
Yeah.
I felt good about it.
Yeah.
I felt really good
Yeah,
about it.
because what you did in that moment was you decreased the possibilities of things like that happening to you so much it would blow your mind. Because that energy stopped with you. You didn't perpetuate it, so it stopped with you.
It did.
Right. So there's no need for that to come back around to you as much because you didn't perpetuate the energy. Now, if she doesn't change her mind, she will, but you won't.
She went off thinking something else.
I'm sure she did.
She was ready for a fight.
Sure, and you better believe if she really wanted one, she went to find somebody else to project on in order
She
for her
was
to
looking for
have.
another-
And she
yeah.
probably, sooner or later, she'll walk up on somebody that wants to be as miserable as she is. And when she walks up on somebody that wants to be as miserable as she is, they'll attack her back because they want to be attacked too.
Yeah.
And then we're supposed to see both of those things as being a call for love, a call for help, a call for healing.
Now real quick, the thing I wanted to bring up was kind of what Jody was talking about. What do you do? I like to think of hear what you have to say in the practical world, practical experience. What if the person that you're talking to and you're going, yes, okay, what would you do then? What would you do then? What would you do then? I've been in a situation where they took that as pandering and they took it as being patronizing.
Well, you got to be
I'm not doing it
sincere.
right or something.
Well, you
but-
got to be sincere. When I
It's
say that,
sincerity
it
level.
wasn't insincerely. It was sincere. And because see, if you begin to let go of judgment, one of the ways you can tell if a person is beginning to let judgment go is in direct proportion to how much they ask questions. A person that already thinks they know you and you've already been judged, they're not going to ask you what you think, what you feel, where are you coming from now, what do you want right now. People who think they know you don't ask you questions. So I want to be aware of everybody in my environment. So I do want them to continue to talk. And what do you feel about this? And what do you feel about that? And because for one thing, I'm joining with them and not separating from them. And so I'm being a part of the healing. Or I could just, in most cases, all you got to do is just listen, or just be there. Only thing that matters is your purpose. Like, is my purpose to join with you, or my purpose to separate from you? Because whatever you're talking about, it really don't make any difference as far as how I choose to live my life and what I choose to do. It's just another person's perception or opinion. You know what I'm saying? It's like even when I see the big wigs on TV and the big speakers and the really pop, they're not any difference from you and what you have to share. They're just more amplified. That's the only. Marianne Williamson is just more amplified. She's just a person like you, who's gone through her teachings and her learnings and she's sharing that in a beautiful way that's being used to help many people. But that doesn't mean that you got to listen to her or me or anybody else before you listen to your own heart and what your own intuition is telling you. As a matter of fact, if you're really getting what I'm saying, you would actually listen to yourself more and want to follow what you feel in your heart more, because that's the only thing that I'm encouraging, because you're on your own individual path, but you have a guide. But you're in charge of the journey, and a smart person, when they go to Africa on a safari, is going to get a guide through the jungle, even though they're the one in charge. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, we're all in charge of the journey, but we'd be really smart to start trying to get in touch with the guide. Right?
Yeah.
So this year for me is the year that I spend time trying to get in touch with the guide and try to be in relationship and focus on what's happening instead of what should be happening. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Let me get it. Oh, did you hear that, Earl? Did you hear that? So let's do the love offering. Thank you for sharing with me.
Oh my.
This is what I do in the world, and I appreciate your generosity. Good old acquaintance be forgot. Yes.
Yeah.
Because they're standing in the way of the cool people that could be in your life
That's
right
right.
now. Listen to me, Earl. Listen to me. There's a lot of cool people and situations and circumstances that want to get to you in 2012, in this year. Whatever year this happens to be, to whoever's listening to this on the internet at any time. All right? And if you're ready for a relationship, say, I am ready to learn.
I'm ready to learn.
If you think that there's a lack of money in your life, the Course in Miracles teaches you don't ask for the thing, you ask for the correct perception of it. So you would go, I want the correct perception of money. I want the correct perception of health. I want the correct perception of success. I want the correct perception of forgiveness. You ask for he says, what you do is you ask for the correct perception, because it's your perception of it that's the only thing that can be wrong. You with me on that? So if you walk out of here today and you can catch yourself when you're ready to ask for something, and you stop yourself and you go, I want to ask for the correct perception of this. I got a backache. Give me the correct perception of a backache, Holy Spirit, higher self. Give me the correct perception of fun. Give me the correct perception of creativity. Ah, that's awesome. That's awesome. We got about 3 minutes, and I'm going to spend that doing like a quick little review of some earlier stuff that I said, so you can take it out into the dream with you. You are beings who create your reality through your thoughts, feelings, emotions, and beliefs. Your conscious and unconscious thoughts, feelings, and emotions and beliefs create your reality. Everything that's happening to you is happening by your choice. And it's because there's some lesson in love that you are trying to learn. There's something about the truth you're trying to recognize. If you ask your higher self what the lesson is, and you're willing to let go of your idea of what you think it is, then you will receive what the lesson is. Once you recognize what the lesson is, and you're willing to go ahead and do it, then there's no need to continue to have the situation that's putting you through the changes. How do you know when you don't want the situation solved? How do you know when you still want to continue the punishment or the pain of a situation? Good question. How do I know when I'm really not willing to change my mind and have it healed? It's in direct proportion to how much I still say is being caused by something outside of my own mind. So if you tell me the thing on the outside that's the cause of your unhappiness, I know you still want to keep this thing going. if you say, I want to ask Spirit what it is within my own mind that needs to be corrected so that this pain can go away, I know you're ready for the pattern to end. That's all. Isn't that simple? Tell me the area of your life where you still are looking like thinking it's something external condition that's causing what you're going on. That's the area that you don't want the healing in yet. So if you tell me all the reasons why it's being caused by something outside yourself, that's how you know you want to keep that going. The area of your life that you're willing to say, I don't know how I did it, I don't know why I did it, but at some level I did it, that's where you're ready to see that thing be healed. And that's, you don't have to know why, you don't have to know how, you just need to get to the point that you stop seeing yourself as a powerless, weak being. Because the lesson is that we aren't. We're incredibly powerful. We just haven't been taught that. So what do we need? I need a reminder. What is the course class for? To remind me. How do I know that I'm loved? Because I'm here in a room where people want to remember they're powerful and loved and innocent. And so I wouldn't be here unless I'd already changed my mind. You've already changed your mind. You've already changed your mind. You've already changed your mind. You've already changed our minds. We've already changed our minds. We've already changed our minds. We're just letting go and learning to let go of everything that keeps us from recognizing that. That's what we're doing.
Yes.
All right?
All right.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thanks for coming, Holy Spirit. All right. Sunday at 1 o'clock is the Course in Miracles class, and I'm finishing up the new beginning, which is about the rules for decision and making right decisions. Covering that on Sunday. I've already posted it on my website and on YouTube. So, there's a lot of reminders that you can get really easy and free. All right?
All right.
Okay. Hugs are available to those who want to receive one.